minus 1. What is the sum 7 plus 3i plus minus 8 plus 9i? Then find the absolute value of the sum. So if we want to find the sum here, we have in this form. For example, 7 plus 3i. So we are taking first a complex number, and the second one, let me write it with a different color, is a plus minus 8 plus 9i. And the sum is going to be equal, so let me write with a different color here, 7 minus 8. So we are, when we add those complex number, we are adding real part with the real part and imaginary part with the imaginary part. 7 minus 8 is minus 1. And the imaginary part plus 3i plus 9i is a plus 12i. And now if we want to find, for example, the absolute value, the absolute value is, we put in this form, minus 1 plus 12i. So the absolute value is, for instance, let me write here a general formula. A plus bi is going to be equal with the square root of a squared plus b squared. So always the absolute value or magnitude is a positive value. So we are taking just the real part. The a and b are real part and I is imaginary part of the complex number. And this happens to be this way. Now minus 1 squared plus a 12 squared. And what's going to happen here is going to be 1 plus 12 squared is 144. If we add in both together, the result is 145. So the magnitude or the absolute value of the sum of these two complex numbers is square root of 145. But let me graph now here. And if we are graphing here, this 7 plus 3i, the complex number, is going to look in the graph something similar what we have here. So I'm sketching here. And now if we wanted to graph a minus 8 plus 9i, is going to look in this form. But the sum is minus 1 and 12i. So the real part is minus 1 and imaginary 12i. So this was going to be the coordinates. But just let me change a little bit the color. For example, if I'm changing the colors, so let me change it for the first one. So let me see here if I can change color. I hope I can. And yes, it's a red. And for this one, let me say this one. Let me make a blue. So this is what it looks in the graph. But now, if we want, for example, graphically, how we can find out the absolute value. So the graphically, we can find very easy graphically. So we can find this way. For example, if we are making like a parallelogram, something like in this form, and we making parallelogram, so the resultant is going to be, or diagonal of the parallelogram is going to signify the absolute value of the sum of two complex numbers, or absolute value, or the magnitude of the complex numbers.